You don't deserve this place anyway. Amanda's smug face filled my phone screen as she panned around the now empty living room of my family's lakeside vacation home. Consider this your eviction notice, Sophie. I've donated all your precious memories to charity. My name is Sophie Evans, and at 34, I was watching my sister-in-law systematically destroy my family's legacy through a video call while I was working on a humanitarian mission in Thailand. The antique furniture my grandparents had collected, the wall of family photos dating back to the 1950s, even my father's prized fishing equipment, all gone. Did you really think you could just abandon this place and keep it from a real family? Amanda continued, her designer handbag swinging as she gestured around the strip room. Tom and I have 3 kids. We need this space more than you do. I gripped my phone tighter, watching as she shoved off the empty spaces where generations of my family's memories once stood. The vintage mirror my grandmother used to tell me stories in front of, gone. The handcrafted bookshelf my grandfather built, disappeared. Even the collection of lake-worn glass I'd gathered with my dad every summer since I was 5 had been cleared away. You haven't even visited in 6 months, Amanda sneered. Too busy playing hero in third-world countries while the rest of us maintain real lives here. What Amanda didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I had spent those 6 months setting up medical clinics in remote villages, following in my late father's footsteps as a doctor. He would have understood. He would have been proud. Nothing to say. Amanda taunted when I remained silent. That's what I thought. Tom agrees with me, by the way. Your brother knows this is for the best. That hurt more than I wanted to admit. Tom and I had grown up in this house, spending every summer racing down to the dock, learning to fish with Dad, helping Mom tend her garden. After our parents died 3 years ago, we promised to keep the place in the family, to preserve the memories they created here. Well, thanks for letting me know, I said, keeping my voice steady. I hope you kept the property records safe at least. You'll need those. Amanda's perfectly plucked eyebrows furrowed. Property records? Why would I need those? This house belongs to the family, and Tom and I are the only real family now. You're just the sister who abandoned everything. I ended the call and immediately dialed my lawyer's number. Catherine, remember those papers we filed last year? I think it's time. What Amanda didn't know was that my father had been meticulous about his legacy. The lake house had been his pride and joy, and he'd made sure it was protected. While Tom and Amanda assumed the property automatically fell under family ownership after our parents' death, Dad had actually left very specific instructions. The property was in my name, with a trust established to maintain it. Tom had visitation rights, but no claim to ownership. Dad had seen something in Amanda's behavior long before any of us. Her subtle digs about family loyalty, her constant complaints about the house being wasted on just me, her hints about how much better she could manage it. Your brother's wife, he told me during one of our last conversations, reminds me of a story about a cuckoo bird. It moves into another bird's nest and pushes out the original inhabitants. Don't let her push you out, Sophie. I pulled up the security app on my phone. Another precaution Dad had insisted on, and watched as Amanda directed a group of movers to load my family's belongings into a truck. Each piece disappearing into the vehicle felt like a physical blow, but I forced myself to document everything. My phone buzzed with a text from Tom. Amanda told me what she did. I know you're upset, but she's right. We need the house more than you do. You're never even here. I stared at his message, remembering how we used to be. Tom and I against the world, sharing secrets in the lake house's attic, covering for each other when we snuck out to stargaze past bedtime. When had he become so distant? When had Amanda's influence overshadowed our bond? Another buzz. Catherine this time, papers are ready. Want me to send them now or wait? I watched through the security feed as Amanda posed for selfies in front of the house, probably for her social media followers. She'd always been obsessed with presenting the perfect family image, and now she had the perfect backdrop, my family's lake house, stripped of its history, ready to be repurposed for her Pinterest-perfect life. Send them, I replied to Catherine, and contact the police about the theft. I want everything documented. Within minutes, my phone lit up with a call from Amanda. What is this? She screeched. Some lawyer just served me with papers. Property theft? Unauthorized removal of assets? Are you insane? No, Amanda, I said calmly. I'm just protecting what's mine. Check the property records, the ones you were so quick to dismiss. The house is in my name. Everything you just donated was legally mine. That's impossible, she sputtered. Tom said. Tom assumed, I corrected. Dad made sure this place would be protected. He knew someone might try something like this. You're lying, she hissed. Tom will never forgive you for this. As if on cue, my brother's name flashed on my screen. Another text. What are you doing? Amanda's crying. How could you go behind my back like this? I took a deep breath, watching the sunset over the Thai mountains, so different from the lake views I'd grown up with. Check the records, Tom, I typed back. Dad left them in the attic safe. The combination is still your birthday. See for yourself what really happened. The next few hours were quiet, the calm before the storm. I knew Tom would find the documents. I knew he'd see the truth. The question was, would it be enough to break through Amanda's influence? As I settled in for what promised to be a long night, I pulled up an old photo on my phone. Mom, Dad, Tom, and me on the lake house dock, all smiling, all together. I won't let her erase us, Dad, I whispered to the image. I promise. The next morning, my phone was flooded with notifications. Amanda had gone on a social media rampage, posting tearful stories about family betrayal and how I was tearing apart her children's future. Each post more dramatic than the last, carefully crafted to paint her as the victim. Your sister-in-law is quite the performer, Catherine messaged, attaching screenshots of Amanda's posts. But she made our job easier. She's documented the theft herself. I scrolled through Amanda's Instagram stories, watching her tearfully explain to her followers how she was just trying to make a beautiful home for her babies, and how I was selfishly holding onto a house I never use. Each video was filmed in her perfectly decorated suburban home, her 3 children strategically placed in the background. Then came the message I'd been waiting for, Tom. I found the papers, his text read, and Dad's letter. Can we talk? My hands shook as I dialed his number. It rang 3 times before he answered. Sophie. His voice sounded different, smaller somehow, like when we were kids, and he'd come to confess something to me before telling our parents. I'm here, Tom. Dad knew, didn't he? About Amanda. About everything. I closed my eyes, remembering Dad's conversations with me during his final months. He saw things we didn't want to see. Remember when Amanda suggested selling Mom's garden tools because nobody uses them anyway? Or when she tried to convince you the lake house was too much maintenance? She said she was thinking of our future. Tom's voice cracked. But Dad's letter, he wrote about how she reminded him of Aunt Marion. Aunt Marion, our mother's sister, who had systematically sold off their family farm piece by piece, claiming it was for the greater good of the family. Mom had never forgiven her. Did you read the trust documents? I asked. Yeah, Tom sighed. The house is yours. Dad left it to you because you have your own house, I finished. The lake house was meant to be preserved, not transformed into someone's Instagram backdrop. Amanda's furious, he admitted. She's already called her brother. He's a lawyer. Says we can contest the will. Claimed Dad wasn't in his right mind. And what do you think? The silence that followed felt endless. I think, Tom finally said, that I've been an idiot. I watched her push you away, bit by bit, and I let it happen. Even convinced myself it was your fault for being away so much. You're not an idiot, Tom. You're just. Under her spell, he laughed bitterly. That's what Dad wrote in his letter. Tom has a good heart, but he can't see past Amanda's manipulation. He was right. I heard commotion in the background, followed by Amanda's shrill voice. Are you talking to her? Give me the phone. No, Tom's voice was firm. Firmer than I'd heard him speak to Amanda in years. This is between me and my sister. More noise, then the sound of a door closing. Sorry, Tom said. I went outside. Sophie, what do you want to do about the furniture? The photos? Everything she took. Catherine's handling it. I explained. The police have been notified, and she's tracking down the donation centers. Most of it should be recoverable. And if it's not, then Amanda will pay restitution for everything she destroyed. I paused, then added, Dad's fishing gear too. Tom's sharp intake of breath told me he hadn't known about that. She got rid of his fishing gear. All of it, even the hand-carved lures. Everything. That's too far. Those were irreplaceable. Dad and Grandpa made those together. I heard the anger in his voice. Real anger, not the performative kind Amanda specialized in. Tom, I said carefully, What are you going to do? I don't know, he admitted. But I need to start making things right. Starting with this, I'm sorry, Sophie. I should have stood up for you. Should have seen what was happening. Before I could respond, I heard Amanda's voice again, closer this time. Tom, the police are here. What did you do? I have to go, Tom said quickly. But Sophie, don't let her win. Dad was right about protecting the lake house. It's not just a property, it's our history. After he hung up, I received a series of increasingly hostile texts from Amanda. How dare you call the police? Those things were junk anyway. You're destroying this family. My children are crying because of you. I forwarded each message to Catherine without responding. Let Amanda dig her hole deeper. The police report came in that evening. They tracked down most of the furniture to a donation center 2 towns over. The family photos and smaller items were in Amanda's garage, hidden under tarps. She'd lied about donating them, probably planning to sell them later. Your sister-in-law refused to cooperate initially, the officer's report read. Claimed everything was given to her willingly. Changed her story when we showed her the property records and security footage. Catherine called with an update. We can have everything returned within a week. And Sophie? They found your father's fishing gear in Amanda's brother's boathouse. Apparently, she gave it to him as a gift. I felt a surge of anger so strong it made my hands shake. Those fishing lures were irreplaceable. Each one told a story, each held memories of days spent on the lake with Dad and Grandpa. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Tom. I'm staying at Mom and Dad's old house tonight. Need time to think. Amanda's not happy about it. I stared at his message, remembering all the times we'd escaped to our parents' house when things got tough. It was where we'd hidden after our first broken hearts, where we'd celebrated our biggest victories, where we mourned together after losing Mom and Dad. The house misses you, I texted back. It misses both of us. Yeah, he replied. I forgot that for a while. Let Amanda make me forget a lot of things. I looked out at the Thai sunset, thinking about how different things were from what I'd imagined. When I took this assignment, I thought I was running away from the pain of losing our parents, from watching my brother slip away under Amanda's influence. Instead, I'd found my strength, the strength Dad always said I had. And maybe, just maybe, Tom was finding his way back too. My phone lit up with one final message from Catherine. Court date set for next week. Your brother's name is on the witness list. He's testifying against Amanda. I smiled, remembering Dad's words. Sometimes people have to lose everything to remember what really matters. The journey home from Thailand felt surreal. As my plane descended into familiar territory, I could see the lake in the distance, its waters reflecting the morning sun just as they had throughout my childhood. Catherine was waiting at the airport, a thick folder tucked under her arm. Welcome back, she said, hugging me. Ready for tomorrow's hearing? Tomorrow. After 3 weeks of legal back and forth, we were finally going to court. Amanda had refused all attempts at mediation, convinced she could charm her way out of the situation just as she charmed her way into controlling Tom's life. How's Tom holding up? I asked as we drove toward the lake house. Catherine smiled. Better than expected. He's been staying at your parents' house, going through old photos and documents. Found quite a few interesting things, actually. When we pulled up to the lake house, I saw Tom's car in the driveway. He was sitting on the porch steps, looking older and more tired than I remembered. Sophie, he stood up, awkward and uncertain. We hadn't seen each other face to face since before Amanda's video call. I stepped forward and hugged him, feeling him relax slightly in my embrace. I missed you, little brother. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry for everything. Inside, the house was empty except for a few boxes, the recovered items waiting to be unpacked. Tom had spent the past week tracking down everything Amanda had dispersed. Most of it's back, he said, gesturing to the boxes. Except Dad's fishing gear. Amanda's brother refuses to return it. Says it was a gift, and he's already used some of the lures. I felt my chest tighten, but before I could respond, Tom pulled out his phone. But look what I found in Dad's study. He pulled up a photo of an old notebook. Dad documented everything about those lures, when they made them, what materials they used, even drawings of the designs. I've already contacted Grandpa's old fishing buddy. He's willing to help me recreate them. I stared at him, seeing glimpses of the brother I'd grown up with. You do that. It's the least I can do, he said quietly. I let her take so much from us, Stuffy. Not just things. Memories, time, our relationship. We spent the afternoon sorting through the recovered items. Each piece had a story, and Tom seemed desperate to share them all, as if making up for lost time. Remember this? He held up an old telescope. Dad caught us sneaking out to stargaze, and instead of punishing us, he taught us about constellations. And this, I pulled out a slightly dented cookie tin. Mom's secret recipe cards. Amanda told you I took them when I moved out. Tom's face darkened. She told me a lot of things. Made me believe you were selfish, unstable, running away from responsibilities. He set down the telescope carefully. I chose to believe her over my own sister. Before I could respond, both our phones buzzed. Amanda had gone live on Instagram again. She's at the country club, Tom said, his voice tired, telling everyone how we're bullying her, how she was just trying to make the lake house perfect for the children. He paused the video. Our children, she keeps saying. But you know what? In 3 years, she's only brought them here twice. Said it was too rustic, not good enough for her social media aesthetic. The next morning, we arrived at the courthouse to find Amanda holding court on the steps, surrounded by her social media followers. She dressed carefully for maximum sympathy, modest clothes, minimal makeup, clutching a photo of her children. Sophie, she called out, cameras turning to follow her gesture. We can still work this out as a family. Think of your nieces and nephew. I walked past her without responding, but Tom stopped. No, Amanda, his voice carried clearly in the morning air. You don't get to play that card anymore. This was never about the children. Inside the courtroom, Amanda's performance continued. She cried at all the right moments, spoke about family values and creating beautiful memories for her children. Her lawyer presented her as a devoted mother simply trying to improve a neglected property. Then Catherine presented her evidence. Security footage showing Amanda directing movers to clear out family heirlooms. Screenshots of her social media posts bragging about upgrading the lake house. Text messages to her friends about finally getting rid of all that old junk. Photos of the items hidden in her garage proving she'd lied about donations. But the final blow came from Tom. My father knew, he testified, his voice steady. He knew Amanda would try something like this. That's why he left me this letter. He pulled out a sealed envelope. Instructions to open it if anything happened to the lake house. Amanda's face went pale as Tom read their father's words. If you're reading this, son, then what I feared has happened. Amanda has shown her true colors. I've watched her slowly try to erase our family's history just as she's tried to erase your sister from your life. The lake house isn't just property, it's our legacy. Your mother and I built our lives here, watched you and Sophie grow up here. Don't let anyone take that away. By the time the judge delivered her ruling, Amanda had dropped her sympathetic mother act. She sat rigid in her chair, fury evident in every line of her face. The property clearly belongs to Sophie Evans, the judge stated. Furthermore, Mrs. Evans Carter's actions constitute theft and willful destruction of property. Full restitution will be required, and a restraining order granted preventing her from accessing the property. Outside the courthouse, Amanda tried one last performance. You've ruined everything, she shouted, mascara running down her cheeks. All I wanted was to make things perfect. No, Tom said quietly. You wanted to erase our family and replace it with your version, but that's over now. That evening, Tom and I sat on the lake house dock, watching the sunset just like we used to. The boxes of recovered items waited inside, ready to be restored to their rightful places. I'm filing for divorce, Tom said suddenly. Started the paperwork last week. I reached over and squeezed his hand. You can stay here as long as you need. Thanks, but I think I need to go back to Mom and Dad's house for a while. Figure out who I am without Amanda's influence. He turned to me. But maybe we could restore the lake house together. Make it ours again? I'd like that, I smiled. Dad would like that too. As the stars began to appear over the lake, I felt at peace for the first time in years. The house behind us might be empty for now, but it was full of possibilities. New memories waiting to be made, old bonds ready to be restored. Tom picked up Dad's old tackle box. The one item Amanda hadn't managed to take. Think you remember how to fish? Please, I laughed. I was always better than you. We'll see about that, he grinned, and for a moment we were kids again, racing down to the water's edge, our laughter echoing across the lake. Some things I realized can't be erased or replaced. They just need to be remembered, protected, and sometimes fought for.